Good morning. Are you still? I'm sick. Usually I'm wearing my mask inside, but I'm outside here. And so my voice is very weak, but I wanted to share a song with you today. And everything is connected. Have you ever noticed that? Everything is connected. I am trying to work through some issues that have to do with flamingos. What I realized is that I love flamingos, and I had a poem in a book that I wrote called Wacky Rhymes. It was a collection of poems, and although I'm not getting royalties on it, you can still buy it through Amazon. All my books, you can pretty much still buy through Amazon, and I don't know what's going on with the royalties. Either Amazon is stealing it or somebody, okay? But I have a book, it's called Wacky Rhymes, that I wrote. It was my last children's book composed of poems, and one of the poems was my favorite, called Fernando, the Traveling Flamingo. And it was a story about, a homeowner who goes outside. It was based on a news clip that I'd seen in the Tampa Tribune. A guy goes outside, and he sees that his flamingo in the lawn, it disappears, okay? And so the flamingo ends up sending him postcards from all over the world. And that was really the inspiration behind this disappeared flamingo. Okay, so it's traveling all over the world, sending him postcards. And then one day he opens his door and the flamingo's back. And it has a travel satchel tied around its neck. I just thought it was the most fascinating and funny story. And so I wrote this poem, Fernando the Traveling Flamingo. I think it was about like 2012, 2013. And so it became, this thing became about, because of flamingos. And the thing is, I love flamingos. I love that they're pink, because flamingos are pink because of what they eat. It has nothing to do with the fact that they were born pink, because they're not pink, right? It's what they eat, and that makes them pink. And the thing of it is that, my message has been about healing from PTSD trauma. And it got to the point where when I would see somebody who was wearing pink, I just automatically thought of them as an enemy. And even people who love flamingos, claim to love flamingos, became my enemy. And so it became a trigger, really. And so my message is that you have to find ways to work through these traumas, especially when you have like music or art, whatever the trigger is associated with some sort of trauma. You have to kind of work through it and face your fears. And you have to learn from that and transform that into something beautiful, a lesson of healing for someone else. And one of the things I love to do is crochet. Okay, and I had some yarn that I had gotten from Joanne Fabrics. And I talked to a young girl at church, lovely little young girl. She had some stuffed animals that were emotional support animals you could buy online. They were really cute, emotional support dogs through Amazon. And, I'm a homeless woman, and all these people here at the homeless shelter are homeless. We're all victims of trauma. And I was talking about how some of us are fortunate enough to have small dogs, but it's not really practical when you're worried about how you're going to eat, right? To try to be responsible for a dog. But how some of these women are so traumatized, they've really regressed. I met a woman at the other shelter who sucked on a pacifier, okay? And how cool it would be if we could make some amigurumi. This is what it is. This is crochet. This is called amigurumi. And it's an art of crocheting animals. Okay, animals, people in 3D. Okay, and so I had some leftover yarn, and I didn't have any pink, but I had this fuchsia, and I only had a limited amount. But I'm like, you know what? I could make a flamingo. this would help me work through this. This is my emotional support pet. But this is also my new Fernando, the traveling flamingo. So I'm going to make like him a little suitcase. Okay. And I'm going to reinvent my characters from my books and republish them and reclaim them and reanimate them and also illustrate them again, okay? Because I don't have a computer anymore. And so this is Fernando, and he's fuchsia. His body's fuchsia, but his legs are green and his wings are green. And his tail is purple, okay? Isn't he cute? Okay, and I got this pattern from an artist named Nicole Chase. If you go online on Google, you can type free crochet patterns, and you can get this pattern. I made some adaptations because I didn't have any doll eyes. But her website is thenicolechase.com. And so she has a free pattern for the flamingo. And you can, if you can read patterns, it's right there for you. And she shows you step by step how to make a flamingo. The thing about this flamingos, right, and this thing between me and my sister-in-law, I always liked flamingos. And she confided in me once that they were dirty, stinky creatures. And I'm like, well, you know what? I don't care, because I lost my sense of taste and smell due to COVID 4 years ago. And I've never gotten it back. And, we went through so much during the Hurricane Ian. I was at the Red Cross, and God sends all kinds of signs. This is the thing. Flamingos are from Chile, okay, from South America. And a curious thing happened after Hurricane Ian. A whole bunch of flamingos blew in from Chile. And that was a sure sign to me that I needed to work through these issues with flamingos, right? And in this really trauma of overcoming what had happened to me over the last 4 decades in living with my ex-husband and his family. And so I no longer hate flamingos, because the truth is I used what yarn I had left, and I didn't really have pink. I had this fuchsia, right? But the thing about amigurumi emotional support pets is they can be whatever you want them to be. They can be dragons, they can be, whatever. Okay, they don't have to be dogs. And so I want to do more of this, okay? The truth is I am a homeless woman. I don't have money for any of this yarn. But I'd love to do more for many of the women here. Wouldn't it be cool? And so, if you want to fund my ministry, nobody has ever sent me anything, okay? People have been stealing my royalties. Google has shadow banned me for obvious reasons. If you want to support this ministry with the crocheting of the amigurumi or anything else that I have to offer, I'm gonna lay it out there and put out my Venmo and PayPal QR codes after this video is over. So this is Fernando. He's finished, but he needs a little suitcase. I'm gonna make him a suitcase. And we're gonna travel, me and all of my characters, as I start to redo these animated projects for kids, because it really is about healing my inner child. And the way I do that is by writing more books and creating more characters and entertaining kids with these great ideas. Emotional support pets, because we all have an inner child that needs to be healed. And so this is my project, Fernando, okay? If you want this pattern, thenicolechase.com. And you can sign up, and you don't have to look at all the advertisements. She's got that flash up to buy the crochet pattern. Isn't he cute? Okay, I was thinking about making him a little tie here. I do know. He's a work in progress. But he's going to sit next to me because I'm going to sing a song for you. And this song was written by Bjorn, Ulvaeus, and Andersson. And if you don't know who these gentlemen are, They were the writers for pretty much all the songs that ABBA performed in the early 70s. And this song is called Fernando. And it's about two soldiers during the Mexican Revolution. The Mexican Revolution was, 1910 to 1920. And the Mexican Revolution was about the people revolting against the dictator Porfirio Diaz. Because all of in Mexico, all of the rich people, the nobles, had the money, and everybody else was living in squalor. And that's what the Mexican Revolution was all about. And this is really what we're on the brink of, is a revolution. So I'm going to sing this song for you. And I know, so the copyright checks will issue a copyright for this song for Mr. Ulvaeus and Mr. Andersson. But I am absolutely positive that Google is not getting these royalties to anyone, much less them. So thank you for letting me perform this. I hope you do get your royalties. Honestly, I do. But I'm pretty sure you're not. Okay? You're in more of a position to fight this than I am. I can't hire a lawyer for any of this. I'm just nobody. But the song is called Fernando. What I need is a classical guitar, Spanish guitar. Can you hear the drums, Fernando? I remember long ago, another starry night like this. In the firelight, Fernando, you are humming to yourself and softly strumming your guitar. I could hear the distant drums and the sounds of bugle calls were coming from afar. They were close enough, Fernando. By ABBA. There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright. They were shining for you and me. For liberty, Okay, the curious thing about this is the third take I've taken of this. And one of my friends came out, and she has an emotional support dog. She's just so cool. She's lost one of her eyes, and she's out here rolling around in the grass. It's just the most therapeutic thing. I wish we could all have emotional support dogs, and that was my plan with Charlie, right? It was about healing from PTSD, not just my husband, but my what are those? Okay, I'm taping, so you don't want to be in my video, but I'll take some chicken sticks. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What it's about is emotional support dogs, right? Yeah, so this is perfect, okay? Chico sticks. Thank you. I never had them before. I'm going to try them. Okay, and she's just a lovely little dog. Okay, she's just emotional support dogs. It was not just about my husband, but about my dog. Because Charlie was a Marine major. Okay, he lost his handler, I'm going to say 8 years ago now, overseas due to an IED. And it had to do with my children's book, The Incredible Snout of Major Charlie Pete. That all these people basically tried to sabotage. Every time I come on here on YouTube, they're like, how can we derail her? And this was really a concerted effort by a lot of people. Charlie's still being held hostage in Fort Myers by Sheriff Marceno. And one of the reasons why it had to do with Anastasia Toller, right? Because the woman who runs the kennel who is holding him hostage could identify Anastasia Toller because she dropped Charlie off after day 2. She charged me for 4 days. And she dropped Charlie off after day 2 because he had sores on his nose. What it is he's a lab, right? In my old lab, Abby had the same thing. It's nervousness, right? And so they scratch. They call them hot spots. And, because Charlie's psychic too, right? He knew he was with an evil woman. And so she dropped him off. And so Donna Thompson could identify Anastasia Toller, right? I talked about the confession letter. Donna Thompson's a part of that, right? She told Marceno all about how she was holding my dog hostage, right? And Marceno's reasons for wanting her to was because Charlie hates a dirty cop. Okay? He hates my mother-in-law, for sure. He hates a dirty cop. And the thing is, Charlie was trained to sniff for cadavers. And he told me where the bodies were that washed ashore of the homeless people that didn't count, weren't part of the final statistics on lives lost because they were nobodies. And I put that up on my YouTube channel, and even still, they're holding him hostage. They won't let my husband go, even though we have a confession letter. And I still don't know where my children are. And it had to do with the dogs. Because when Anastasia and Valerie Toller came into our life, she was sent there by his evil mother. Because he told her what our plans were for Charlie. And so it has to do with healing, right? It has to do with the plans that God has for us. And so, I'm going to write that. I'm still writing that book. Because my art is manifestation. Even if it's 20 years after I've written it, it is going to be realized. I'm watching her. She's playing ball with herself. She's such a sweet doggy. Hey, baby! What you doing there? She's having a good old time. And this is the thing about dogs, emotional support animals. Because people like me, people like Derek, who can communicate with dolphins, okay? And other animals. We're special in that way. We're empaths. And so God's purpose for us is not to be dumped on by narcissists who don't want to feel those feelings, right? It's about transforming all this pain into something beautiful for everyone else, into healing. So again, if you want to, I'm going to flash my QR codes up here. If you want to support anything, and you can, I have my email address and my mailing address. You can contact me via email at lotuspete@gmail.com. And, or in the comment section. I'll leave the comment section open. Thank you for joining me today, and have a blessed day.